Okay, I'm really excited to talk about this. Let's talk about one of the biggest, maybe the biggest surprise of the year, at least to me, and that's Godzilla Minus One. So I'm somebody who really does not care about Godzilla. I've seen all of the recent American Godzillas, Godzilla 2016, Godzilla King of the Monsters, Godzilla versus Kong, and I thought those were fun. But I've never really seen any of the Japanese originals outside of some kind of scenes that I caught as a kid. But having said that, I went into this movie not really knowing what to expect, and I came out of it knowing that it was by far one of the best movies I've seen this year. It's weirdly like if you had told me that at the end of that movie, the whole theater would be sobbing, that I'd be one of those people, I would never have believed you, just because I have no attachment to Godzilla, and why would anybody be crying in a Godzilla movie? But that's exactly what happened. So basically, this film follows this man who was supposed to be a kamikaze pilot at the end of World War II for Japan, and he decides he's not ready to die, and so he kind of fakes some problems with his plane and lands on this island. The engineers are looking at the plane, they know nothing's wrong, they know why he did that. But then that night, Godzilla shows up and attacks, and again, he kind of freezes. He's supposed to go get in the plane and try to fight him off, and he just doesn't, and he's one of two survivors. And so from there, he goes back to Japan. Godzilla's on a rampage to kind of mainland Japan. And really, what I think is one of the best parts of this movie is that the human story is so good. I mean, this is a compliment to this movie, but Godzilla's not in it that much. Like, he's in it a good bit, but he's not in it all that much. Sometimes the movie kind of goes along and you forget that it's a Godzilla movie. And again, in the best possible way. And I would, if this were just a movie about a man coming back, kind of disgraced from World War II and trying to rebuild his life, I would watch this if this is what it was. But also it's a Godzilla movie, which kind of makes it even more badass. But honestly, having said that, I don't know that badass is the word I would use. Badass is the word I would use to describe the American Godzilla movies of the last few years. But here I think the Godzilla scenes are, instead of badass, I would say that they're more devastating. There's really no, when Godzilla attacks, you're not like, oh my God, this is so great. You're like, oh my God, a lot of people just died. It's not something that you're gonna watch and be like cheering for like you would some of the more recent movies. And I think at the heart of it, this is just this really strong indictment on the Japanese government post World War II, and obviously, the US and the Western world as well. But these Japanese, I think it's just about these Japanese people that feel, attacked by the US, abandoned by their government, and it's about just people as people standing up for themselves and doing what's best for the actual people of their country, and just taking all of basically taking the country out of the government's hands and into theirs. And I think it works so well, both from that thematic standpoint, from an actual story standpoint, from an entertainment standpoint. It's a nearly perfect movie that I think everyone should see. And because I think these two things work together so well, where there's just a really, really great human story combined with this devastating monster movie, it fits together so perfectly that by the end, where everything builds together, it is one of the most emotional things I've experienced this year. So yeah, no matter how you feel about Godzilla, you should immediately run to the theater right now and watch this, because it's going to be a movie that I promise you're not going to forget anytime soon. So that's my review for Godzilla Minus One. If you liked it, let me know. If you have any other thoughts, anything that I didn't mention, feel free to throw it in the comments. And if you liked what you saw, like and subscribe.